Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of What's on Your Mind. Today, we are digging deep. For many students, the exam season has finally ended. Some are celebrating, others are anxiously waiting for results, and many are wondering whether all the hours of revision truly reflect what they know. Dun, dun, dun. Today, we are asking a simple but important question. Are examinations really the best way to assess knowledge and a measure of progress? We'll be right back after this.
What's on your mind? Let's talk it out. With Olive and Val, there's never a doubt. Morning vibes that feel so fine. Tune in now, it's breakfast time.
Tune in now, it's breakfast
time. You are very welcome.
Exceptionally welcome.
Welcome all. We're back in the studio. It feels like we haven't left. With me in the studio is the one and only DJ Val. And my name, as you know, is Olive. You are very welcome. Thank you for joining us. What are you doing this morning? You shopping? You having a lie-in? Tell me. Answers on a postcard.
Are you having a fancy drink?
We are still hydrating. This is just to remind you, not that we need, this is just to remind you, like we said, sun sets really early. Before you blink, the temperature has gone up. But it hasn't been too bad this week, has it? How are you coping? You have allergies, you have whichever one. How are you coping? Hope you're all doing well and the lower temperatures have served you better. Goes up a bit this weekend again, then begins to drop again next week. Few showers are predicted. Well, keep safe, keep hydrated, as we said.
Showers?
Yeah, the showers predicted over the weekend. Okay. Unless, again, it keeps moving. Remember last week we had a few days where they said they would shower when it just cleared. It just didn't even shower. But
the garden needs it.
Are you having a hosepipe ban where you are? We have a hosepipe.
We have a hosepipe ban.
Are you observing, most importantly, the hosepipe ban?
Somebody said nobody would say anything if we did.
In your area? Okay,
no, they said if you did break it, nobody would really.
No, I said, you'd be surprised. There's some weird areas. Anyhow, a lot has been happening. If you live in United Kingdom, a lot has been happening. And you know that we now have a new Prime Minister. What's his name?
Andy, not Andrew.
He doesn't like to be called Andrew.
Andy, he's a man of the people.
And he has hit the ground running. We're coming back to that. Before we go into national and international news, let's look at my favorite part of the show, your comments. Thank you all so much for all your comments on last week's show. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. And I hope you also, those of you who did your post-show comments, thank you as always. Now drum roll. Right. Kicking us
Was that
off,
the cymbals?
Symbol.
Oh, okay. All right. I feel you. Okay.
All right. Kicking us off in no particular order, Mr. Femi says, this episode made me smile from the beginning to the end. That's what we like, to bring some smile and sunshine to your screen. Love the banter between DJ Val and Olive, more like you liked us trying to work out our date night on air.
We're always bantering, aren't we? Just always bantering backwards and forwards.
I don't, more like he's the one that causes me to banter. Well, we're glad that we don't, in that sense, we don't bore you. Moving on, thank you, Mark Weller. The museum recommendations were fantastic. Mark, go for it. And if you've got kids, grandkids, whatever, remember, research. Do they have the interactive sections? Because now the kids love the interactive section. There's another new one that's just been put on the lists where I can't remember the name. I saw it briefly on the news. It's where everything, they make believe settings, so you could go into the place and it's modeled like as though it's the real thing. I'm sorry, I don't know. I just heard it briefly on the news.
Was it the Museum of Illusion?
Illusion, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Museum of Illusion. So there's so much fun, and that's purely interactive. So add that to the list. Thank you. Moving on to Bumi. Bumi says, such a refreshing episode in every sense, with a smiley face. It wasn't just about summer activities, but also looking after our health, making meaningful memories with the people we love. Great show as always. Great comment as always to you, Bumi. Thank you so much. Get out there, make those memories. Before we blink, we're back to winter and we're hibernating again. All right? Just think of it that way. Moving on to Beckett. Thank you so much, Beckett. I know you guys were giving compliment about, I'm not sure if it was my hair or something. Thank you during the live chat. Really enjoyed this one. The infused water ideas. Did you go shopping? Yes, I think you said you were going shopping to get the fruit. Did you manage to get out? The infused water ideas was brilliant. And I never knew you could make drinking water so much more interesting. Voila. I've got another sample for you. Another sample. Okay?
Et voila. I can tell you it
I'll
tastes
definitely
delicious.
be trying it this weekend. Lovely. And I hope you got round to trying it. Last but by no means the least, another excellent episode. I loved how practical this was. The reminders about staying hydrated, making most of the summer, spending time with family were simple but very helpful. Shalom, everyone. That's the thing. I think sometimes, because we just need reminding of this simple things. Just a reminder. And if someone reminds you, then you can plan it. You could actually go out of your way and, because there's just so much bad news out there. You blink, something's happened. You blink, someone's dying. You blink, someone's sick. There's such bad news. And before you know it, it's like a vortex. You just get caught up.
Sucked
in all of that. Someone said to me, it's like, all I do is attend. My social life is filled with attending funerals. I said, I know, is it she then just, I guess it's the age. But I couldn't even make a comment. But it is what it is. That's what some people's lives have become. Service of songs, funeral, service of songs. But in between all of that, we hope that we can remind you to just pause and still live life as it ought to be lived. Or as you desire to live it. Or maybe sometimes we remind you to live it. And that's also good enough for us. If we do that, then I think we've also done well to just remind you to just live. And Auntie Adeola's comment?
Yeah, so my auntie messaged right after the show. She said, in essence, we were spot on that her brother had a bit of a health challenge. And when they found out, it was dehydration.
Yes. So. It's simple, but like I said, every news channel, I like, even like I said, I watch the ambulance, inside the ambulance, and I watch it regularly. I do watch it regularly, honestly. Sometimes it can be a bit gory, but literally the past how many weeks, every case they picked up has had to do with dehydration. So I didn't even realize that dehydration affects the heat and dehydration affects our lungs, but people, look after yourselves.
Indeed.
Moving on really quickly to the national news. I don't have international news. FIFA is over. Commonwealth Games are beginning. That's international news.
Got a question. What are people doing now that football's finished?
Commonwealth Games is coming on. If you're like me, you like the athletics, go for it.
But it's like we'd come back and, especially there was some excitement. The match was on, then I give you the summary. The next morning when I would wake up.
What Wendy was saying. Shout out Wendy. She goes, Auntie, I don't know what to do with myself now in the evenings. And she goes, i.e., that she said that she found it was her daughter loves soccer as well. So it was such a bonding experience for them to have something that they were doing consistently together for the past few weeks. So if you found that to be the case, let's not let that bonding process end because the World Cup is over. Let's replace it with something else, because maybe this will be the start of good patterns and good behaviors amongst ourselves and our family members. So try and find something else. Could it be another program? Could it be something that you would do consistently with them to keep that bonding going? Right. Yeah, so like we said earlier, we've got a new Prime Minister. For those of you who don't live in the United Kingdom, our former Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he resigned. And this gentleman who likes to be called Andy Burnham, has hit the ground running. Put a cap on the bus fare already, reviewing prisoner release early policies to be reviewed, VAT cut
on electricity.
On electricity. Cabinet is being formed, and his people are asking, where is all the money going to come for all this cut? You're talking, well, we will be here by the grace of God to review his 100 days in office. Stay tuned for that. And another one I picked up on national news was, especially because of the heat, a lot of people who have heart conditions are exacerbated, and the conversation around defibrillators came up. Do you know where the nearest defibrillator is in your area? Do you know if there's one in, within literally? So
Andrew's Close.
You've got one in Andrew's Close. But how long does it take to get there?
Driving, it would take 6 minutes.
6 minutes. So
or under.
So when you have a heart attack, you've got a few minutes for that defib to work to save your life. And if it's further than 1 kilometer round trip, then that's no good to you. So it's important for those who have heart conditions, wherever you live, it's important to know where the nearest defibrillator is to you. Many areas are now putting them in the old post boxes, and I really like that. So you've got first aid kit, defibrillator, bleed kit, and all of that. So do a sense check if you fall within this BRAC category. Right. Very quickly, we've got a really fun, I don't know if I can call it a fun subject. Well, DJ Val has done the introductions. Beyond the exam paper, is there another way to measure learning? Children are broken up from school now, like you said. Some are living it up. They've put that all behind. They don't. Some are saying, I don't want to see the back of a classroom again for the next how many weeks. That's how traumatized some of them get after exam season. And some are like, okay, some are a bit more pensive and reflective over it. Like, did I do well? Did I not do well? Do I think I will get the grades I will get? But the debate over exams, that has really been around for decades, for as long as I can remember. And every decade, every so often, it intensifies, dies down again, intensifies. So many people have either they've come to terms with it, but exams can motivate learning, and they can also create stress, and it can favor certain types of learners, and sometimes overlook talents that don't fit neatly into an answer sheet. So today we're going to just try and explore a few things, how people actually learn. How do you learn? What's your learning preference? What's your learning style? What are the strengths and weaknesses of exams? Are there better ways to measure progress? And what should every learner at any stage, if you're doing a professional qualification, even a simple training, maybe 3 hours long training, what should you know about the type of training you're taking and what it demands of you. What does learning actually mean? People often think that learning is simply remembering a set of information. And so you find many of us cramming, memorizing this data. But is that really learning? Just memorizing data? You hear people say, oh, someone's got a photographic memory. They look at a page and they're able to capture all the pertinent details of that page. Real learning really does mean the following: understanding ideas, one, being able to apply the ideas that knowledge capture, being able to apply and solve problems. In the case of the sciences, you have the information, you apply, you use it to solve equations and solutions, or even solve practical tests or experiments, explain a concept, adapt to new situations. That's what real learning to me means. So when somebody, a hypothetical one, when somebody moves, someone who's used to living in the Himalayas, relocates and goes to live in the Amazon rainforest, there has to be a relearning of a lot of life on that person. Does that mean that without taking a test, that learning isn't valid, or we can't measure that type of learning? Memorizing facts for an exam may help in the short term, but genuine understanding is what helps that knowledge last much longer. Learn, again, with the relocation. Another example is learning to drive, learning a language, playing a musical instrument. None can be mastered simply in a short period or by just taking a test. You can improve that learning process can be improved even after your driving test. A lot of your weaknesses can still be improved by practicing, making mistakes, receiving feedback, and trying again. Do we all learn in the same way, DJ Val?
People learn differently. Like some people are visual learners. They learn better. Their brain's more stimulated with actually seeing things. I mean, some people, they learn by doing.
So by observing and doing, or just doing?
Just doing.
Practicals.
Yeah.
How do you learn? What's your preferred mode of learning?
I like visual. I like listening.
So you're a combination.
Yeah, visual gets me because my mind would wander.
Okay.
So I like something that is visually engaging with a hands-on element to it as well. Not a fan of the, final assessment thing. I don't think that's really the trick. I think it's really more of a case of applying and learning as you go along. That's a good way. Muscle memory gets in your mind, gets in your hands, gets in where you need it to be.
Oh, that's good. You've taken me right to the next bit. People do have preferences, although research suggests that we shouldn't assume people can only learn in one way. So like you said, you're a combination. Most learners benefit from using multiple approaches depending on the subject. So if you were going to give a speech, your way of learning, your subject matter will not be hands-on. It will be to get data. Do you understand? Now you can present your speech to your listeners visually, but the way you're going to learn your subject will be through data, not hands-on. So if you were now, say for instance, if you are going to do music, now that is hands-on. Do you understand? So anyway, a few examples. Some common...
You can, so for example, not just, you can I can visualize things and make them. I can't really explain it really well, but it's not so much just the reading, but I can take things and then make them into pieces of information that I can see. If that makes sense.
So the visual learning simply interprets to the learner that we're going to be visual about the way we teach
So like
this
a mind
information.
map works well for me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's you, the learner.
Yeah.
You, the learner,
Yeah.
work, yes, but in presenting your data to others who are learning from you,
Yeah.
that's where we're talking about the combination. So some people
You
may,
should always have a picture.
well, people are all different. And some of us may be a combination of. Let's go into it. Let's break it down. Let's unpack it.
Always gotta have a picture. Of
Visual learners, auditory learners, they listen for, they hear your voice, they want to hear a warm voice. Reading, writing learners, some people can go to a conference and they will take notes throughout that conference and their notes will be legible. Then there are those that are kinesthetic learners. So let's break it down. Visual learners, as DJ Val has said, that he's one here. They like diagrams, They like mind maps, videos, color coding, and charts. Now, the strength of this type of learner is that they see the connection, the relationship between patterns and data. So they're able to pick up trends very quickly from information before them. But the thing to be aware of, if you're that kind of learner, is you can't only rely on highlighted notes. You can't, understanding the data in front of you is more important than colorful pages. Moving on to the next one, auditory learners. They prefer discussions. They listen to podcasts like us here. They prefer to listen to us and learn this piece of
like you there.
like you.
You love a good podcast.
You know.
Come on, be honest.
Don't change, stay that way. And then they like lectures, they like talking ideas through. So they're the kind that if they were in a team project, they will first talk it through before they approach the task. They're auditory learners. The strength there is they remember conversations and explanations. You explain something through to them properly, it sticks. If you explain it the wrong way, on it be you. What to be aware of there is if they listen. So if your voice isn't soothing to them, they switch off very quickly and they become disengaged with that lecture or that presentation. So that can be a downside, So really your voice must be engaging for them to grasp.
I record when I was doing different exams and different things. I record.
Okay.
I record them because in the class, it
might not be as interesting.
No, one thing will really be interesting. And then I'm thinking about the one thing.
I see.
And my mind goes
trails
down,
away from
and it's like, oh, this is a really great concept. And then by the time I've come back to the room, probably 2-3 other things have happened. And, I wasn't necessarily wasn't paying any attention because that one thing just really got me. It was really interesting. So yeah.
That's exactly what we're saying here, to be aware of those kind of learners. They just listen, and sometimes they can pause on a particular thing. So it's important, if you're writing, to summarize ideas quickly, or in DJ Val's case, record the session. In that way, you can go over it again and again.
Top tip.
Record and go over it.
Free
because
now on your phone.
you pause on something and then you get,
But it's like in those movies, you watch a film and then you watch it again. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing as well. And you find that when you've recorded it and then you listen back, I don't think it matters what kind of learner you are.
Yeah.
You get that second, Window.
How did I
Good
miss
stuff.
that? Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that. Okay. Then moving on, the next type of learners that we're talking about are reading and writing learners. They prefer text. They prefer books. They prefer paper. They have a long to-do list. They take notes. They like essays. Text messages can be War and Peace. They like writing. The strength of this kind of learner is they're very good at organizing information. Give them data, they organize it, they present it very well because they know what to do with data. Now, what to be aware of there, if you're that kind of person, is they tend to read repeatedly. They go over things over and over and over and over, and
Yeah.
sometimes because they're busy fussing with the information, they're not capturing the crux of the information. So active trying to remember or what you understand from this. Say for instance, the visual learner will try and immediately, oh, there's a pattern here. Say for instance, let's say you were doing a sales report, and the visual learner, just by looking at the graphs and the statistics, can right away begin to say, oh, what's going on here? We're having peaks or we're having drops at specific times of the month, because they're not waiting to organize the data before they start making sense of it. They're already making sense of it just by looking at it. They're not waiting to do a big, long analysis at the end of it. Unlike the person who is a reading and writing learner, they will organize the data first before making sense of it. And sometimes people like this could be a bit slower in processing information quickly. Could be, not always, just could be, because they're obsessing about the presentation of the data. That in itself is a good thing. But again, you also could have a combination. You can have a reading and writing person who's also visual. And they make fantastic, those kind of people make fantastic project leaders. They come up with all the things, they put it all together. So kinaesthetic learners prefer the experiments. They're the scientists. They prefer demonstrations. They're the construction workers. They're the on-site people. They're the hands-on workers. They're practical activities, learning by doing. A mason, show me how to plaster this wall. Don't tell me that mix the concrete by how many. No, show me. And they crack on with it. That's how excellent at applying knowledge. Absolutely excellent. The thing to be aware about with kinesthetic learners, some academic subjects still require reading and writing. So even with the apprenticeship schemes, where a lot of the learning is very hands-on and kinesthetic, you still require reading and writing. So practical learners should combine this with experience and reflection. Val, what do you think?
That's a very good question.
Can we learn only in one way? Like we've just touched on, people possessing a combination.
I have different ways for different things.
Aha.
So depending on what it is. So like you're saying about the whole data thing, I like looking at data, to be honest. And I'm okay with that kind of stuff as well. Same with if it's like more technical things too. You know, I'm all right doing that. But when it comes to other kind of things as well, I was just thinking about this as well. I actually learn better by asking myself questions, which is really, it's odd. But I was thinking about it when you were talking, that if I wanted to learn a subject, I would ask myself questions about that subject, and then I would have to be able to answer those.
Okay, so you're what we call the assessment learner, self-assessing learner. So you're assessing yourself as you're going along. You're giving yourself prompts to learn at every point. What does this subject require of me? They see the question, they begin to analyze it themselves in their own way before they jump into it. That's a good one. Yeah. The thing is that the most successful learners are adaptable. They're adaptable in whatever. If it's a practical project, they find a way to adapt it. If it's like sometimes even when we have the kids and we're doing something like maybe we're packing something, maybe one of the many gift bags we pack here, and we'll say, okay, right, division of labor. How do we start? Yeah, you always do that. You ask questions. How many needs to go in here? How many needs to go? What's the heavier one? You do that immediate analysis but also that's because I think you're a natural leader. So you first lead yourself before you lead others. You understand what is required of me to accomplish this. How many bags do we have? How long, you ask some mundane questions and I'm like looking at him like, seriously? That's
but it just formulates
first
what it is that you want to do. It's one of the things I learned in prep. They're very, very, very good at having problems that you now need to work out all the variables and come up with a solution from different things. And we always used to have this phrase, if you're going to do something, somebody needs to quarterback it. And the quarterback is a person that always has a plan. He's the one that sets the play. And that statement, which I don't know if it's relevant to this, but too many chefs, or
spoil the broth.
Is it too many chefs spoils the broth? You need to have somebody who knows what it is that needs to be achieved, and people need to understand that it's that person's job to do it. And I can remember, case in point, can't say where it was, but there was something that happened and there were about 3 or 4 people trying to reinvent the wheel every time.
No, you can't do that. You just slow yourselves down. But what's the one thing, just talking about that now, he didn't learn that in any text, in any exam. They didn't learn that. He learned that through experience and self-assessing to accomplish tasks. What's the one thing you learned outside of school that no exam could measure or teach you? Answers on the postcard. Right. While you're putting the answer on the postcard, can I ask you one more time? Have you got soul? Let me know. Put it in there.
We'll be right back after.
We'll be right back.
This.
I don't just listen to gospel. I have soul. Where your spirit gets fed and your groove gets saved. Soul food, soul food, soul food gospel radio. Feel it deep in your chest, 'cause the good news plays best on soul food gospel radio.
We are back. Exams aren't all bad, right?
Well, when you're the one in the middle of it, it doesn't so many people, exams, we're not talking exams just for the primary school, secondary school, higher education. People take exams on different levels. And so we want to look at, let's look at, people take exams a lot, like you said, even for training, etc., etc. Let's look at a few pros. Did you tell us something you didn't learn in a test? Now, there are disadvantages and advantages to exams. Let's break it down a little bit. Advantages. Many people have stood this corner, fought this fight, and defended for years. They're standardized. That's why you have exam boards. So every area, Scotland has its own exam board, Ireland has its own exam board, United Kingdom, Wales has its own exam board. So these exams, depending on the areas, are standardized. Now, everyone, and it eliminates the jeopardizing the integrity of the exams and the tests when they're standardized, because there's better control over the papers themselves. We're not going to go into too much details as to how they work and all of that, but there's just general advantages that I've just put together. Not limited to what I've put together, but just a few. Motivation, deadlines encourage revision. You know, so the schools plan, and it allows the schools also to have a documented structure as to how children can revise or be encouraged.
The curriculum, not the curriculum?
Just revision.
Okay.
So I don't want to get into the subject of the curriculum, because if we're for those arguing against exams, they argue that the curriculum needs to be reviewed. No, that's not what we're doing today. We just want to talk broadly about how we learn. And the reason we use exams is because many people have just finished off. You know, even those doing their MBAs will be taking a break now. University graduates, they've all finished. So everybody's kind of taking an education break around this time. And things pick up again in September.
Yep.
And that's why I thought, let's look at this, you know. Because when I speak to my nieces, they're all like, relief. And I'm like, okay. And I began to think, what else after exams? What next? You know,
There's a certain amount of relief when you finish.
there is, of course. Yeah. And so the motivation, exams for some people motivate them. They want that deadline to push them, because without it, they're just going to keep postponing, studying indefinitely, which I found myself guilty of that, where because there isn't a strict exam deadline, then I found myself diddling over when to hand in that training or when to do, even though there was an assessment at the end of it, but it wasn't a deadline in the case that you have for exams for that. Then preparation, that's also an advantage. Exams allow many professionals work in high pressure situations, lawyers, doctors, and pilots, engineers. These are all people who work in very high pressure. And so going through that process of the exam kind of learning prepares them for that career. Because even in the career, they're constantly being tested as well. They will take this exam after this period, take another exam after that period. They're constantly learning. So that exam process teaches them how to perform under pressure, and that's invaluable for them. Then you have also efficiency. One exam can access hundreds and thousands of people. Like we said, the different exam boards in a different country. In Africa, we had one called West African Examination Council, called WAEC. Then you had another one called the JAM.
Joint Admissions and Matriculations
Board. So it allowed them to be efficient, so that hundreds and thousands of people would be measured around the same period, as opposed to having different entry levels. There was a period for the exams, there's a period for the entries, there's a period for it created uniformity in administering different courses. So
Okay. That's so
yeah, so a lot of people who favor that or who work in the sector, they will always use that as an advantage. And it also becomes relatively inexpensive or more affordable when you do it in that way, as opposed to when you allow just different entry times. So you would have the main entry time, then you have what they call the supplementary admissions as well, that would give those who had receipts an opportunity. And they would always argue that that also allowed them to do the receipts in a structured way. Well, those are the advantages that some have put. Let's look at the disadvantages and all problems with some of the exams. Now, like I said, these are not limited to, these are just a few top ones I've picked.
Do you want me to run through some of those?
Go for it.
Okay, so number one, dun 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 dun, a word that we use quite a bit, stress. So anxiety can affect performance. Some students know the material, But when it comes to the exam, they will freeze under pressure.
All the time.
So, and that is really...
We see that even in interviews.
You see that
Some
everywhere.
people see interviews as a test of their ear. Cool.
You see that all the time. So it's a snapshot assessment. So a 2-hour exam measures one moment in time. Give me one moment in time. It doesn't necessarily reflect months of learning. So again, if you've got a great memory, you can come out looking like you're a genius. But it doesn't mean that anything's actually stayed there. And going on to memorization, which is something I was really good at when I was in school. Some exams reward memory rather than understanding. Students sometimes brain dump information and forget it a day later. I wouldn't even say a day later. As soon as you come out of the exam,
that's it.
I don't need it anymore. So it's gone from my mind. I don't need it. It's taking up valuable space. You've got
Pythagoras theory.
I remember some of those things. Interestingly enough, I still remember that you mentioned Pythagoras. I remember Newton's laws of motion, where everybody will continue at rest or in a straight like that. Because I like physics, even though I wasn't really good at it in that.
Because of all the laws.
No, because it was the learning style was just horrible. It was all books, which for me, physics is, I want to be like a Sheldon, when you got theoretics and doing all kinds of stuff as well. So, but yeah, some things stuck. Other things, just...
And a good lecturer, a good teacher, is also able to use these different styles in their teaching to capture the different types of learners that they have in the room.
I don't think in Nigeria they cared.
Moving on.
Okay. All right. Different strengths, creative thinkers, excellent communicators, problem solvers, team players may not always shine in traditional written exams, which is, again, very, very true. I think I would put myself in that category to a certain degree. Because I knew I had to pass the exam, I would just memorize the thing. The only reason why I know Julius Caesar the way I do is because I memorized the book. It was 200 pages and I said, right, I'm sure I can remember all of this. And pretty much I did.
Not for the gist of the story.
No, I understood the story, but the fact of the matter was, I knew I was going to be asked a contextual question. And because I'd memorized it, I could always know who said who to what. I'll tell you a funny story. This is going to make you laugh. I actually used to make money out of it.
Whoa, how?
Because I'd memorized, and I'm not joking, so I said, you say any line from the book, I would tell you who said who, what happened before and what happened afterwards.
Wow. Okay.
And yes, I would make good money. They would say like 3 there. I said, yep, I can tell you. I did an exam and the teacher said I cheated. I felt so happy. She said, no, you must have cheated because of the way you copied from a book. You must write a book there. I thought, yeah, I did good. I failed, but I was so proud of myself. But anyway, another story.
You failed it?
Yeah, she failed me because she said I was cheating.
Oh my goodness.
But
Okay.
in all fairness, I thought, not bad. I failed because she thought I cheated. I didn't cheat.
All right. Well, life rarely works like an exam, as we know. Most jobs encourage teamwork, research, asking questions, collaborations, etc., etc. Yes. And exams aren't perfect, but what alternatives are there, and what alternatives are people suggesting? Personally, I don't think exams should be replaced entirely. And the general consensus across the board is that you balance it out, show progress rather than just lean on showing progress rather than just performance. And there's a particular style that's been proposed, a few, I'll list them out here. They call them portfolios. You already have the art students working that way. Art students really don't do exams per se. They create portfolios and then they evidence that portfolio, the project, the reports, the presentation, the research over time. Architecture is like that. Interior design is like that. Some form of engineering as well. They're like that. So they just create portfolios. Graphic designers, even Alistair is doing commercial photography. He doesn't have exams per se, but it's that continually creating portfolios and assessments. And with that sort of learning comes also what they call the continuous assessment, regular quizzes, assessments, reflections, participations, group work, reduces the pressure on just the one exam day. Now, countries in Europe like Sweden and Norway have championed this, and they favor this method where they've placed heavy emphasis on continuous learning, coursework, as we said earlier, and daily progress. Those two countries have stood out for taking this approach. Then you have presentations, of course, which are also presentations are vital because in today's work life, they already begin to practice that from the whatever institution they're learning, because in today's work life, presentations, communications, explaining and demonstrating a genuine understanding of your job is important. So already teaching them that from whatever institution, be it secondary, be it university, it's important and also crucial. Then you have the peer and self-assessment. We just touched on that, where Val self-assesses himself first. But in the peer assessment, students will review each other's work. They will learn by evaluating the quality. You still find this same process amongst the creatives as well. They would look at each other's work, assess each other, mark each other's work, and then begin to reflect on their questions. Now, the self-assessor, like Val is here, he has said to us here, is, have I improved on this? Am I struggling with this? Why am I struggling with this? What should I do next? It helps develop independent learning. So people like that can do well with online courses because they don't have the hand holding that a classroom will present to them. So self-assessment is good for that. Then, of course, you have the combination type, like we've talked. And in an ideal world, that's what we would like, a combination where the portfolio, all we've mentioned earlier, combines with exams. And not other countries that do that as well, do this exam and the assessment type is Germany and the Netherlands. They utilize a blend of this to get their assessments done. Let's conclude this. Any final thoughts for us, DJ Val?
I think it is really important for you to work out your learning style.
Yes.
And there are some things that will be exams. You know, I think of the driving test.
Yes.
You have the theory.
Yeah.
And you have a practical
yes.
as well.
That's a good one.
So, you know, there will be some things that you are required to sit down and answer questions. Other things, okay, maybe you can do learning on the job or other ways around. But I think it's really important for you to know what style works with you for your learning.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you need to face, you need to know what style works really well with you. And I think a lot of the time, that idea of you just go in and listen to the teacher and hopefully go home and be able to spit it back out again, that might not work. You need to find more creative ways in order for you to be able to do your learning. But I think it's a really interesting debate to have as to, you know, for example, is it BTECs? It's more assessment.
Yes, and practical.
Yeah, more practicals than it being that you have to sit down there and actually do an exam.
Yeah.
Like A levels will always be an exam. There's no. I don't think they do assessment in any of the A levels.
They do assessments, but it forms just a percentage of the final exams.
Yeah.
The final exams always trump the more.
For things like that, people would think, oh, okay, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But, you know, even in university, it just doesn't all sit on the final exam. because you're always doing things that help your,
So again, it depends on the course.
yeah, it helps your
Yeah,
grades.
it depends on the course. You find the combination, but like DJ Val just said, most importantly, it's important for you to be creative and curious enough to find out what sort of learner am I. And if you're struggling at the minute with completing an assignment, as the case may be, once you get to know the type of learner you are, you become resilient in tackling the assignments, the homework. It just breeds a kind of, because you already know this is how I need to do it. This is what I need to do. Now, if it would take you a bit more time to do because of the kind of learner that you are, then I think it's in that resilience that you plan yourself, because now you're learning to think critically of how you do your work. And thinking critically is also something that we all need in our day-to-day lives. Be it you're on the road and then somebody is attacked. What do I do next? Do I just stand, bring out my phone and record like some people do? Thinking
Like most people do.
Yeah, thinking, what do I need to do if I, call, why is this happening? Where are we? Where's the nearest? Do I need to call the ambulance here? Do we need to jump on this person? That being able to think critically, a lot of people don't even possess it anymore. So education shouldn't just prepare us to pass tests. It really should just prepare us for life, because learning continues in life. We never stop. Here one of the values and ethos we have on this show is contending for transformation. So we're constantly learning. We might not be learning. Those of you who are auditory learners may love this, because you're learning by listening, so we continue. And the best learners and the ones who score the highest grades, I've known people who didn't do well in their exams, but in life they're winning, because they found themselves, they found their learning style, they applied it to what they needed to do, went back to school, did a professional exam here and there, and now they're winning. So learning continues throughout life. I think this is a good way to wrap this up. We hope we haven't bored you. We hope we haven't. And I hope that in the conversation you found yourself, or you've identified, or you've had an aha moment as to what sort of learner you could be. Shout outs?
Oh, I haven't got any. Not so much a shout out, but I did do it on the Tuesday show to our dear friends Maureen and Caroline on the passing of their brother. So
much death. And it's unfortunate. I think I'm going to tell you one now on air. I haven't told you that one yet. And I'm so sorry. I'm going to tell you that one. It's so much. It's like every day I'm getting calls. This one has passed. This one has passed. So our princess, who graduated from nursery school to big primary school, her father passed.
What?
During the week. Yes, I'm so sorry, darling, that I have to say this on air. Now, she's a listener. It's just literally just come to me that I haven't shared it with you. She's Auntie Mash. If you're listening, may the good Lord continue to... That's one of my really good friends. Auntie Mash is, when we talked on Friends, I gave her a shout out. She is a friend. And if you're listening, she joins the live conversation sometimes. May the good Lord just continue to strengthen you. It's been a journey and a half. He was a bit unwell for a little while, but I'm glad that, anyway. And they've got 2 young kids. So please remember them in your prayers. And then we have Auntie Carolyn and Auntie Maureen, who lost their brother as well, suddenly. We have Auntie Charity, who lost her husband. My namesake, Uncle Oliver. We also have Uncle Reverend Keith from church. Their service of songs, his service of song is next week. Elder Rachel's mom. It's people. I don't know if you're experiencing the same as we are, but it's like you blink, somebody's losing a loved one, it's not just outside people you hear of. These are your close loved ones this is happening to, and if you're in that situation where you're also experiencing it's like bereavement one after the other, we pray that the Lord will strengthen you and your family. The comforter will comfort you and soothe all of us in Jesus' name. There are a few birthdays. This is the thing I like about life. In the midst of death, there are birthdays. People are being born as people are dying. So there are birthdays. July celebrants continue. Uncle Aliu, shout out to you. Left a message for you. I'm going to try and still call you this weekend. We had Auntie Rhoda, who we missed last week, but I caught up with her.
Okay.
And Miss Venita, my former very, very colleague, he became a friend. Miss V, if you're listening, we need to hook up. How are the babies? Hope they're good. Happy birthday, people. Happy birthday. And if it was your birthday and we missed it, we haven't touched on it, please send us a message. Next week, like I said, we're going to do a big shout out to my mommy, whose birthday we posthumous, but doesn't matter, we still celebrate it.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's wrap up if we need to wrap up.
Stay fit, people.
Stay
healthy.
yourself.
Look after yourselves.
Keep hydrated.
Keep hydrated.
I've hydrated
and
myself.
Keep learning. May the good Lord keep you all.
And bless you richly.
Bless you. Do not render
Amen.
evil for evil.
Nope.
But be the good and the change that you wish to see. May He preserve all that concerns you. If you're going through bereavement, may He strengthen you. If you're rejoicing, we rejoice with you. If you're celebrating birthdays, we rejoice and celebrate with you. Keep well, stay hydrated, and continue to shine.
Adios,
Love you.
muchachos. We see you later.
What's on your mind? Oh, did you guys notice my Kingdom Swag t-shirt? Not mine though, but... And he's wearing and you're wearing righteous swag. Oh my goodness, that was not planned. But however, Mr. New Diligence, can you see me in my swag? Morning vibe that feels so fine. Tune in now, it's breakfast time. Listen, there are a few more of this golden Kingdom swags going on. Put your order in. This thing is so comfortable. You know me, guys. I'm not a big t-shirt person. It's so comfy. Put your orders in. There are a few still. Large, X large. Now this is large I'm wearing. And I'm a size 18. This is a large. So it's quite generous. Okay? All right. All right, people.
Folks. We are gone. See ya. Ciao.
What's on your mind? Let's talk it out. With Olive and Val, there's never a doubt. Morning vibes that feel so fine. Tune in now, it's breakfast time.